This is Fluency Module 5, Lesson 13. And our first problem is saying divide 3 different ways. We're only going to do 2 different ways. We are not going to do the area model. But we will do with place value disks and also with the standard algorithm. So our division problem is 435 divided by 3. So if I'm going to do it with place value, I'm going to go ahead and draw out my chart. And I'm going to actually, hopefully you'll have more room. And it would be great if you did this on your own. So pause it and then come back. All right, I am going to show 435. So 30 and 5. So as I'm looking at this, I see that I have one group of 3, which is what I'm dividing by. So I'm going to put my dot down. I have one disk left, so that needs to go over here. Instead of 100, I'm going to use it as 10 tens. I'm going to put them into 3s. I like to put it into 3s, so as I'm counting, I'm going to put my disk into the number that I'm dividing by. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as I look at this, I say I have one group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, and again, I've got one left. So instead of saving it there as 110, I'm going to move it next door, basically, and save it as 10 tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So now I have one group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. So my answer is 145. Well, let's see if that's right. We're going to try and we'll check it against the standard algorithm. So using the standard algorithm, I start with my divisor on the outside and my dividend underneath what I always used to call the tent. All right, we're going to see how many groups of 3 are there in 4? Just one group. So now I'm going to multiply 1 times 3 because I want to get rid of that one group. And then we'll keep moving. I've got one left over and I'm going to bring down my 3 from my 10 spot. And how many groups of 3 are there in 13? Well, I have 4 groups of 3 in 13. So 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm left with 1, and then my final 5. How many groups of 3 in 15? 5. 5 times 3 is 15. When I subtract, I've got 0. So my answer here is 145, and that agrees with the answer that I got from my place value disks. So I can be pretty certain that that is the correct answer. Let's look at our next one, and we have a new division problem. Same thing, we're not going to do the area model because that wasn't something that we really spent any time on. So we're going to do 184 divided by 4. Pause the video, you go and do it, and then come back. All right, 184, so I'm going to need 3 places in my chart. And I'm going to just put my one line down there. My divisor is 4. So when I put my dots in, I'm going to try and do it in groups of 4 if I can. Obviously, with only one dot, I can't do that in groups of 4. But 8, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then my 4 on the end, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. All right, so right away, starting off, I am not going to have anything there because I have to move my 100 into the tens place. So I'm going to replace it with 10 tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, got one group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3 groups of 4, and 4 groups of 4. I have 2 left over, so I'm going to move 1 over as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to move my other one over as well as a group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if you noticed, but by putting it into groups that match my divisor, it is so much easier for me to make sure I'm doing this correctly and I'm not getting all messy and missing some of them. So I have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, and 6 groups. All right, so I don't have any hundreds, but I have 4 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. So let's see if we agree with using the standard algorithm. Again, I'm putting my 4 on the outside, my divisor, and underneath the tent, I'm putting my dividend. So there are no groups of 4 in 1, so I usually just put a little X there to remind myself, don't put anything there. However, in 18, there are 4 groups of 4. So I know that 4 times 4 is 16. I'm trying to get rid of that 16. So I subtracted, and I'm left with 2. And I bring down the 4 next to it. So now I start over. How many groups of 4 are there in the 24? And I know that 6 times 4 happens to be 24. I like it when it's nice and even. I don't get anything there, and there are no more numbers there. So my answer here is 46. My answer using place value discs was also 46. So I can be pretty confident that I did that right. All right. For some reason, these arrows move when I put them onto my app here. So what we're really looking for is what's the whole number here and what is my whole number here. So we're going to count by 4s to 40. So let's just do that right together out loud, starting at 0. 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. So now what we're going to do is we're going to count by 4/5. So 5 will always be our denominator, but it's just like we're counting by 4s again, except we're adding the 5th on the bottom. So we start at 0/5, 4/5, 8/5, 12/5, 16/5, 20/5, 24/5, 28/5, 32/5, 36/5, and 40/5. So the question they're asking here is, well, what's the whole number? Well, what is the whole number at 20/5? How many times does 5 go into 20? Goes in evenly 4 times. So that is our whole number there. And at 40/5, 5 goes into 40 8 times. So that's our whole number there. A division problem is basically, a fraction is basically a division problem. And you can say your top number, or the numerator, divided by the denominator. All right, so we're going to count again. This time when we get to those whole numbers, we're going to say the whole numbers instead. So we'll start right here at 0. Here we go. 0, 4/5, 8/5, 12/5, 16/5, 4, 24/5, 28/5, 32/5, 36/5, 8. All righty. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with this slide. When we got it, it was a little bit messy. So obviously this part down here at the bottom that we can't read, we're not going to worry about. But at the top, it instructs you to draw a number line. So do that and partition it into 2 equal parts. So fill in the end points. And once you do that, you've got 0 and 1. And what is the fraction that belongs there at halfway? It's actually a clue in the title. 1/2. Because you're showing here's one part of 2, which is 1/2. The second part of 2, which is the same as 1. All right, that is the end of our fluency for today.